Hi, my name is Caroline and I am the author of this book, or what, is soon to be a book, Style Hacking. And with the techniques in this book, you can make so many things with just 5 different garments that you use to measure, mark, and cut from. So today I'm going to show you one of the projects that is really cool in this book, and that is how to make your own leggings. So I decided that I needed some new leggings, some new comfy yoga trousers, and I found this lovely jersey fabric. You need some leggings, like the ones that I'm wearing. You need some cardboard or big pieces of paper, some tape to just tape them together if they're not big enough. You can also use some tracing paper. You need paper scissors, fabric scissors, and some markers or tailor's chalk. So now we're just gonna get started, and I'm gonna show you every trick there is on how to do it. And I forgot to say, you also need some elastic band for the waist, of course. And I'm using this decorative nice one, so I don't have to make a casing for it, but I can just put this directly on. First of all, I'm just gonna make sure that my cardboard pieces are long enough, because I actually need to fit a long pair of trousers, leggings on them. So just taping 2 together to make one long one. And I just like using this cardboard because it's a little bit more sturdy, because then it will be like a template that I will actually use again. So instead of having some paper that might break, then I have these bigger, more sturdy templates. First of all, I'm just gonna take one, and then it's about doing the front piece first. And you can see there is a difference to the front piece and the back piece of these leggings. So if you're going to do the front piece, you can both fold them up in half. You can fold them on top of each other. I'm just going to do it like this now. Sure that these side or mid seams are on top of each other, and I'm just gonna try to lay this fabric flat. And of course this fabric really wants to move, so it's a little bit hard to lie completely flat. And you also might have this issue that the item won't be completely straight, because when you buy something that's that's made in a factory, it's not always perfect either. Just like when you make it, it's not always perfect, but it definitely never is from where you buy it as well. So I'm just gonna trace around this, and I'm gonna trace directly around this, and then I'm gonna add some seam allowance later. So first of all, I'm just gonna trace just around it, and up here it gets a little bit interesting, because we actually have a seam, the inner seam here. It doesn't go to this point, it goes in here. So I'm just going to fold this in if I can, and I'm going to be sure that I mark it correctly like this. Then I'm going to go up all along the side, and yes, I'm going to make this line much nicer afterwards when I cut it, but for now I'm just gonna make a rough line. Then you can always just fold out where the elastic is a little bit, so you make sure that you have enough space here. I'm going to fold the back down, because that's the back line of the leggings, and I don't want that, I want the front. And again, here we have the center seam, so that ends here, the inner seam. Then it's about trying to put your finger on it, make sure it's aligned, and then just draw a line. Does it fit? Yes, it fits. So you all the time you check, where are you, where is your not where is your fabric, but where are your leggings, making sure that the leggings also haven't moved too much, but that everything is lined pretty much as it was before. Do all these lines match up? Do I have all the lines from the front part matching up? And yes, I do. Great. That was the first one. So we're just going to mark this with front. We take the next one, that's the back. I'm just going to try to fold it up differently now so you can see it. Now I'm just folding it and placing it like this. You can also fold it like that, putting the two pieces on top of each other. And the easy part is going around the leg opening, going around the sides here. Yeah, that doesn't take so much. That's pretty straightforward. And here you don't have to fold anything down because we want the back line here. So that is perfect. That is what we're going for. Make sure that it's folded out as far as it can so it doesn't become too small. We can follow this line as well. Not a problem. And then we have the issue when we come up here, up the thigh, because just this first bit is also all right. But if we open up here, we can see that there's a lot more fabric here on the side, on the back piece of the thigh of the leg. So we actually have to measure this point here and add it, and then we can draw a nice curve all the way down there. And you have to look at it, see if it fits pretty much. Do you have to add a little more? And it's a lot about just looking at it and see, where are we, what do you think? And then we have the line that we've already drawn here, the center back. We then just continue that down here to our new point, because then the fabric that actually belongs to the back part of the leggings, that is sewn together here with the front part and thus folded up like this. If we imagine that we cut it open, we could lie it, we could place it there, and then that pattern piece would look like that. So that's what we have here, the back piece. And now we've cut the extra paper off and we've got the back template and the front template. And you can see here, if we actually place them on top of each other, that the front template is a lot lower than the back. Here in the center, in the sides, it should very much fit. And that's of course because in the back we need more space to go up above the bum, where we don't need that much extra space in the front. So always be careful that there is enough difference to your back and front templates, both in the width and the height of the back piece compared to the width and height of the front piece. And the interesting thing is then that I want to use this elastic, nice decorative elastic tape for my waist of these leggings. And of course this is the exact height that my leggings were. So if I just add this on top here, then I will have some very high-waisted leggings, and perhaps that's what I want, and then it's fine. But if I actually want to keep the height, then I take this width here and just deduct what is approximately the seam allowance, and then I can just fold this template down. I don't need to cut anything off. I just fold down approximately how much I need to, and then I can use them again later and just fold this part of the template up again. Just as well, if I want shorter legs, if I want capris or bike shorts, I can fold this one up. I just have to be sure that I fold both legs up the same amount. So that's very cool. Also, I'm not actually quite sure how much fabric I've got. So I might need to make these leggings shorter anyways, because there might not be enough. And that's always the fun thing that you can also do with style hacking, is to simply see, well, how much fabric do I have and what can I make of what I have? And now I've got the fabric laid out, and here it's important to always see how is your pattern looking, and can it just be placed whichever way you want, or do you actually have to notice which direction the pattern is going in? And because there is a direction to this pattern, I have to place both the back and the front in the same direction. I can't turn one of them over, which you can sometimes do to save space. I have put my templates, I have made sure there's space for seam allowance, because these templates are without seam allowance, so you have to be sure that you've got extra space for that. And then I just put these little weights down just to make sure. I've made the legs a little bit shorter, both the same amount. So yeah, they will be the same length on both the front and back. Of course, the back is higher, so the back piece decides how long the legs can be, because that just takes up more space. So I'm adding my general seam allowance here, and you can always measure it as you go along. I know pretty much how wide I need it, so I'm just doing it quickly here. So all the way around it now, I've got the same seam allowance, and you can just use tailor's chalk, or you can just use some washable marker, or you can just use a normal marker, because you pretty much cut off the piece where the marker was. I always like to be a bit generous with my seam allowance to then be sure that I don't make anything too small, because you can always make it smaller by sewing it smaller later on. The opposite is not possible, so then I'm ready to cut. And that's everything cut. So this is not the most beautiful of cut lines, but I like anyways to give all my edges around with a serger or a zigzag stitch, and that definitely makes it better. Templates off to the side. I can unfold these and use them again for so many other styles. 2 pieces for the front here, 2 pieces for the back here. I'm just going to go off and give them all around the edges of all the pieces on my serger. So now I have a nice serger seam on all the pieces. So now I have to make sure that the pieces match up. And yes, you can cut away all the loose threads. So yeah, those 2 don't match up, so gotta find which ones do. Those 2, it seems like, and these 2. So these are the 2 front pieces, and I'm gonna do the same for like the 2 front pieces as I'm gonna do for the 2 back pieces. So basically I'm gonna align them so they're lying completely on top of each other here, and then I'm gonna stitch down all the way here on the center seam, the front. And I'm going to do the same with the 2 pieces for the back, making sure that they're perfectly aligned, and then stitching all the way down here with my seam allowance. That was the 2 back pieces stitched together. Same thing for the 2 front pieces. And there. So now basically, to explain it very quickly, it's just about placing these on top of each other and then stitching them together. And what I do, I start at the inner seam, the inner leg seam here, and I make sure that I've got the 2 center seams aligned on top of each other. And then I simply stitch one end of one inner leg and the other leg all the way down. When I've done that, I make sure that these pieces are aligned, and then I stitch up and down the one side of the leg and up and down the other side of the leg. And then we've got some leggings that are pretty much ready to go. And now I've gotten so far on the leggings, they're stitched together, and I've also made the bottom hem, the leg opening, with just a zigzag stitch here at the bottom. That is just very easy, and I know it will stretch when I need to put them on and take them off, because it's stretchy material and then a stretchy stitch. So now we have these trousers, leggings, that need something to hold them up in the waist. So basically, this was the tape that I was going to use, and I'm just going to measure it around myself. Oh, how tight do I want it? And then just make sure that I've got a little bit of seam allowance to just stitch it together with. And then I'm going to cut it off. So make sure that it fits your waist and that it also fits and can go up and down over your hips, of course. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just gonna stitch the edges here with a zigzag stitch so they don't fray. And then I'm going to fold it so it's front to front, stitch the two pieces together as well. Then we have a nice circle, and you can always test that it fits around your waist, of course, and you can also test these leggings before you stitch the elastic on, so you're sure that you don't need to stitch them smaller. Then it's about adding this all the way around, and it all depends. Perhaps you've sewn a skirt that is super loose with lots of you actually need to gather it in lots of places to make this fit, but these should fit quite well together because they're both made quite snug. So I'm going to start at the back of the leggings and the back here where the elastic is stitched together. I'm going to use these wonder clips because then I can just put them on like this. Then I'm going to find the middle of the elastic. I have the place where the elastic has been stitched together. Then I'm going to fold it out straight. So that's the other part, and I'm going to put that on the front center seam of my leggings. Then I'm just going to see how does this seem to fit. Okay, then I'm going to find like a quarter of the way on the elastic circle and put that on the side seam, and about a quarter of the way here on the other side of the elastic and put that on the other side seam. And you can put pins in, you can put wonder clips all the way around, but basically I just make sure to stretch the elastic as I sew. So as I go along here, I stretch it nicely. Pop it into the machine again with a zigzag stitch. Stretch it out here without, of course, pulling too much on your sewing machine. So basically you just want the elastic gathered or distributed evenly all the way around the opening of the leggings. I've come to the last wonder clip, so I just need to be sure that the elastic can be stretched to fit on the last little bit. Elastic on. They look pretty done. And this is what it looks like inside, where the elastic has been stitched on with a zigzag stitch. We've got the serger seam here from the top of the leggings, and when they're folded up like this, it looks nice and done. And here you can see the bottom leg opening. It's simply just folded up and then put on with a zigzag stitch here. And now I should be ready for a very nice yoga class with these super comfy leggings. They did not take long to make and they were easy, and I hope that you'll be inspired to make some too. These are definitely, they're not my first pair, but they're not going to be my last either, because it's just so great that you can make them so quickly and they fit really nicely, and can alter them. These are quite high-waisted, but you can make them just as you want them. You can maybe make them longer if you have more fabric. That's a good idea. You can make them a bit flared, you can make them wider, you can turn them into short shorts. You can do so many things. Thank you for watching. I hope that you'll be inspired to make many more of the styles from the Style Hacking book. See you next time.